Listen, listen, we got some serious news to discuss involving Nick Richards, the Phoenix Suns, Charlotte Hornets. I mean, the list goes on. I want to tell you why today Nick Richards in his debut game with the Phoenix Suns, this man went completely ape. He went off. We just gotta call it how we see it. I foreseen this, happening, to keep it all the way 100 with you. Um, the Suns, they got the diamond in the rough, y'all. This man put up 21 points, right? 7 of 8 from the field. 11 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal. All of this was done in 29 minutes. He continues the trend of former Hornets players, going on to greener pastures and showing what they really can do. Because the Charlotte Hornets, man, they are in the cellars. It's going to take a rock and a hard place to get them to where they need to be. Um, he's clearly in a completely different situation, man. A Phoenix, even though this year is a little, you got to start off kind of wacky, but they do have a shot of getting to the postseason. I do expect them to get in, whether playing, whatever way. Phoenix is a tough team. They got superior talent all over the place. Players, like KD, who has won a championship. You got Bradley Beal. You got obviously D Book. We're gonna get into everything. This team seems to be a little bit more complete, obviously in a whole nother, process compared to what the hell's going on with Charlotte. Charlotte is just, I mean, I'm really disgusted with the Hornets because, you look at the Hornets and it looks like, they have no talent, but they really have talent on this team, you know, um, and it seems to be whether it's the organization, obviously, just I don't know where to start. Obviously it starts at the top, but why in the world do guys leave and turn out to be like this? You got PJ Washington last year, y'all. This guy to me was the difference maker. He added a lot of versatility to the Dallas Mavericks that we haven't seen them have, and that propelled them, to the NBA Finals, and he almost won a dang championship out of all of this. So that shows you something. And PJ was so clutch, and I expect that from Nick Richards when he gets into these situations, when it's time, when the pressure wanes. I'm expecting these guys to knock it out the park. PJ, for a guy who never even went to the playoffs, it was like he was a combat veteran out there, y'all. It was like he been there, done that. He was going to the free throw line, icing games, hitting big threes. This guy ain't never been in the playoffs before. He's standing on business. I expect Nick Richards to stand on business as well, with the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets, man, to me personally, it felt like it drained them a little bit. The last game he played for Charlotte, was back on the 12th. He only put up 4 points. The game before that, he played against Phoenix. He had, like I said, he had two back-to-back games. One was 15. This to me personally, this may have been his best game of the season. The Jammin' Jamaican Nick Richards or just rocking and rolling for the Charlotte Hornets, man. But it seemed like now he's going to be in, title conversations, playoff berths, and that's something, and it is hurtful to see all these guys, elevate outside of Charlotte because it's like we sat up and we watched Charlotte grow and elevate, and we know, the potential that they could have, but it seems like every year they just can't get it together. It's something going on, and they couldn't do it this year, even though it was a lot of hope. Um, I turned my attention to guys like Miles Bridges. Miles was real reluctant to leave Charlotte. Obviously, he doesn't want to go. Him and LaMelo Ball have an unbelievable relationship. We all know these things, to be facts, but I look at some of these guys on the team, you might want to think about moving them, because and the players shouldn't mind being moved. I don't know what's going on with Charlotte. Some of them act like they in Vida Loca land. They don't want to leave, but they have to shake up the joint, and I'm not saying bring in guys like Josh Okogie because I would like to see a little bit more of an upgrade talent wise, but you want to bring in something different. Some of these guys, you cannot continue the same status quo no matter how much you like them or whatever. Obviously, Nick Richards, when you see him play, he has immense potential, but Charlotte is on treadmill. Something has to be done. And when they let go of PJ, I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't trying to beat down the door about it either. I understand the severity of the situation that the Hornets are in. They are the laughing stock of the NBA. You know, truly should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm not saying individually, just as a team. They have completely dropped the ball, and they lost Miller. We're gonna get into that as well. This is spooky. Because Brandon Miller looks to be out. He's gonna be gone. The Hornets, they need that number one pick. If it was any team that needs it, the NBA really need to do them a solid favor. Because some of these other teams, they got other avenues of progression. Charlotte, it seems to be, they're gonna have to go through the draft, and not only go through the draft, but knock it out the park in the draft. They can't get too many book nights and pardon, not Nick Richards, Nick Smiths, and shout out to Nick Smith because he's did really well, but we need some all-stars. We need players like LaMelo. We need players like Miller, especially when you drafted lottery picks. You want to make sure that these are homers. You don't need no, what's going on with T-Jan. You know, uh, we need that pick to hit, because if T-Jan is a bust or he is coming on slow, that's going to hurt as well. You need another guy who could get on the level of a Miller or obviously of a LaMelo Ball and things of that nature. That's why Cooper Flag, to me personally, is the ultimate, of ultimates. Even if they can get Ace Bailey, period, they need to get another All Star in the mix. And they need to also think about trading, for somebody. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they need to think about doing it. Things have to change here in Charlotte. Otherwise, you're gonna see more situations like this. But shout out to Nick Richards, man. He truly deserves this, man, because he went through a lot of hell in Charlotte too. And I didn't really see him complain. He always was one of the consistent ones. He been around a lot. And shout out to him, man. I wish this man nothing but success. I'm rooting for him. I hope they get to the playoffs so he could prove that he's a difference maker, similar to what we've seen from the other guys. Charlotte, man, we got to watch this. Look what's going on. Why can't they perform like this with us? I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. The Phoenix Suns was victorious today over the Detroit Pistons. It was 125 to 121. Obviously, like we just got into it, Nick Richards played a major part in that. But you did have KD. He put up 36. You have Book with 35. So the talent is there. We don't know what they're gonna do with Bill. We're gonna get into that on another topic. But nonetheless, it's Flight Sports TV. Peace and love.